Go f yourself. But go f yourself. Is that clear?
Queer platonic attraction is genuinely so difficult to explain. I feel like for the longest time I just had no concept of what it was at all. And now I think I get it, I at least kind of get it. I still could not explain it to anybody. Like, the absolute best way I could explain it is it's not sexual or romantic, but it's also not platonic. It's special in a way a crush is, where it's like directed towards a person and it's not like your friends, but it's not a normal crush. It's very confusing. If anybody has a good explanation, let me know, because I certainly don't.
You have pledged to send the military to the southern border on day one of your administration with orders to shoot, quote, stone cold dead anyone illegally entering with a backpack that you believe contains fentanyl. Critics have called this a shoot first, ask questions later policy that would amount to extrajudicial killing.
I was in Iraq. The Al-Qaeda wasn't wearing a uniform. You'd see anyone walking down the street, they all had man dresses on. You didn't know if someone had a bomb, an IED attached or not. And so you had to make a judgment based on intelligence, based on positive identification.
Have you ever felt internalized homophobia? If so, how did you deal with that type of thing? I was raised in a very conservative Christian household in Texas, so internalized homophobia was unfortunately kind of inevitable for me. For context, I'm a trans man and I'm bisexual, but prior to transitioning, I identified as a lesbian. I always naturally gravitated towards queer people before I even understood my own identity, which helped me avoid some of the inner turmoil, but my best friend at the time was also someone with really bad internalized homophobia, and that kind of rubbed off on me. I used to pray to God a lot to make me normal, and that persisted throughout all of elementary and middle school. This was worsened when me and the aforementioned best friend started being romantically involved, which caused a negative feedback loop where she would continually spiral over being gay, which made me feel more and more guilty about my own identity. The only way I was able to combat this was to surround myself with positive reinforcement. I left the church, I stopped talking to my best friend, and I made a new group of queer friends who supported and loved every part of me, including my gender and sexuality. It wasn't easy to make that change. There's a level of guilt accompanied by escaping fundamentalist religion when some of your loved ones are still going through the same turmoil that you did years ago. But ultimately, that was the best option for me. Find people that love you. Find people that support you. Whether it's in person or online, having companions that you can trust with your identity without judgment is extremely important. I'm sorry this isn't the happiest video, but I know that self-loathing is something that a lot of queer people deal with, and if you have any other tips on how to manage it, then I'd love to hear, because I know finding a support system isn't always as easy as it sounds. Stay safe, remember to take care of yourself, and have a lovely day.
A mutual of mine made a great video about being late diagnosed autistic and having your greatest accomplishments weaponized against you, and I think this is absolutely true, and I think it's one of the hardest things to mentally go through as a late diagnosed autistic, because the more successful that we were in our early life when we were undiagnosed and highly masked, the harder it is for us to ask for help and to get our autism to be taken seriously. I feel as though people that knew me previous to my autism diagnosis still see me as a neurotypical, non-autistic, non-disabled person with just an autism label slapped on me. I'm being punished and gaslit for my ability to cope when I was younger. I'm praised for my ability to mask. And now that I'm no longer living up to those standards, I'm being gaslit and my greatest accomplishments are being weaponized against me. And allistic people have no understanding of autistic burnout or skill regression, and they say, well, you have a college degree, look at all these things that you did, why can you no longer cook for yourself? And skill regression is hard enough as it is to go through yourself, to comprehend what is happening to you when you experience skill regression. It's really scary and it's really depressing. And then for other people to not understand it and then weaponize things against you just makes it all the more difficult to go through.
Okay, so I tried to fix the political compass. Let me know what you think.
Gay Republican enigma George Santos is confusing hearts and minds again this week after criticizing same-sex marriage on the anniversary of his own gay wedding.
Welcome to Queer News.
Tweeting the following message about his fellow hypocritic homo honey.
2 years since we said I do. Happy anniversary to my partner in life and to my rock.
That day, he told reporters, I was an opposer of gay marriage. He said he simply got married because that was the option, but he did not believe it should be called marriage.
He said, I thought it should have been a civil union. It would have given us the same benefits it. Making it marriage was never the business of the government. I'm not saying I oppose gay marriage. I oppose marriage by the government in general.
Which I think makes total sense, don't you ever?
I do.
He later tweeted, "For the record, my husband Matt and I are proud to show the world that being gay doesn't necessarily make you blind to bad policy." What George is doing here is known as pulling the ladder up behind oneself, using his status as LGBT as a point of strength, while simultaneously using his position to remove the rights and freedoms of others in his community.
This is probably due to some sort of internalized homophobia, which is likely causing George a great deal of discomfort. Unfortunately, however, rather than working this out with a therapist, George has decided to take out his frustrations on American people.
However, this is not the first time that George has shown signs of internalized conflict verging on madness.
George had once claimed that his mother had died as a result of 9/11, despite damning evidence that she was actually in Brazil at the time and had never worked in that building.
Santos also claimed that his parents survived the Holocaust and also fled persecution during World War II, claiming they changed their names to hide their Ukrainian and Jewish heritage. However, genealogy records suggest there is no record of any of the above claims.
In addition, after supporting the Don't Say Gay bill in Florida, George was also outed as a drag queen, following Brazilian drag queen Eula Rockard's claims that she made friends with George in 2005 when he was performing as a drag queen in Rio de Janeiro.
Things aren't looking good for George at the moment. He was expelled from the House of Representatives on the 1st of December following a string of charges, including wire fraud, money laundering, and one account of conspiracy to commit offences against the United States.
Queer News wishes you good luck, George.
We hope one day you'll get over whatever weird shit is going on with you.
In an absolutely shocking turn of events, I have made the New York Times Most Stylish People of 2023 list. Like, what? Yep, that's me. So I thought it could be fun to do a little walk down memory lane of some of my looks from this year. Let's go! First look of 2023, we started strong with the face reveal and that mechanical dress. And girl, I will always love a gimmick. Like a classy gimmick, but I love a gimmick. And don't we think that my face has definitely settled since this? It's good. Next! My first award show ever was the Grammys, and it was the first time I wore Christian Siriano and worked with Brad Goreski, and I just feel like this was the perfect nod to like the Audrey Hepburn in me, but it still felt really modern. And funny story about this look, I didn't realize that like for after parties, people like change between the awards and the party, and I didn't know that, so I showed up in this gown while everyone else was in like jeans, and it was a little embarrassing, but also I will always prefer to be overdressed than underdressed. Next! Oh my god, this picture makes me smile so big. This was on day 365 when times were simpler, and this was like the height of my super femme pink era, and this was also Christian Siriano, and that's like one of my favorite parts about getting into fashion has been like meeting the people behind the clothes, and I love Christian so much. This was a big win for me. Next! Then I pulled a 180 on y'all with this Them cover. I'm wearing vintage Dolce & Gabbana, and girl, I was going through it emotionally. I felt like I couldn't do anything right, and so I said, fuck it, let's lean into the masculine. And I'm so glad we did. And this was my first magazine cover ever, and I just feel so hot and sexy, and I think it was a win. Next, we've made it halfway through the year and to the happiest day of the year, in my opinion, the Tony Awards. And no surprise, I'm wearing Christian Siriano yet again. And I almost did not wear that bandeau. I was just gonna show my nipples, but I got too scared and chickened out. And I gotta tell you, if there's any award show to go to, it's the Tonys. It's the best one. And there's nothing like musical theater girls in ball gowns. You just can't beat it. Next! This was at Michaela's wedding, and this was the peak of my blonde wig era. R.I.P. to this blonde wig. She got a lot of airtime. This dress is Marchesa, and it feels Audrey Hepburn-ish, but I feel like I'm getting a little sexier. I'm starting to find my own style. Next, this is my blonde reveal. I'm wearing vintage Gaultier, and I do have to cover most of the dress because I did decide to show my nipples in this one. And I just so badly wanted to be in my bad girl era because I was hurting so much on the inside and I couldn't talk to you about that. So the only way to really communicate it was like through my style. And so this was great to me. It felt good. Next, Taylor Swift concert. I'm wearing Stella McCartney. And here's the thing, no matter what era I'm in, I will always eat in a little pink dress. Like that is my bread and butter till the day I die. Next. Streamy Awards, and I'm gonna be honest, it was my least favorite of all of my looks this year. It just felt really safe, and I was pulling up on the dress the entire night, but it's still cute. It's still cute. Next! My September cut cover, and honestly, I think this is when I leveled up in this Gucci see-through dress, because when I put it on, I was really self-conscious because it didn't do anything for my body. I felt like my arms looked big, it showed my flat chest, but my favorite part about like pretty photos is like putting so much effort into the posing. Like I gave myself hips there, and I like tucked my arms, and I felt like I created a really beautiful shape. And I know I like making videos, but God, do I love taking a pretty picture. Next! Speaking of pretty pictures, this is from my Attitude Woman of the Year shoot, and it's Brandon Maxwell. I felt like that girl. I felt like that girl in this, and it kind of just made me feel like, oh, maybe I do have a place in this world. I don't know what, but I like it. Out 100, this is the hottest I've ever looked in my opinion. And yes, I am wearing the outfit right now. I'm trying to get some bang for my buck. It's an expensive Miu Miu bra, and I didn't have anything else to go with it. So I got this skirt on Amazon, but I feel like it's a really good match. And what I've been doing lately is just getting like everything hemmed, like all my dresses and skirts really, really short, and it's made them look super cute. And then this necklace is actually a fanny pack extender from Amazon. So you just gotta get crafty with it. Next! Or there are no more nexts. Yay! So who knows what next year will bring? I'm hoping to find the balance between tasteful and sexy, and my body is starting to really change, so I'm hoping to let myself wear some things that I haven't in the past. And TikTok is sponsoring the Met Gala next year. Really hoping to go to that. You can take this video as my first campaign video. And, you know, I'm just really glad clothes exist. So, I love ya. Love ya. Bye.
Is it a medication or Pokemon? Duet and Blind react to this video and tell me your score in the comments section. Bonus points if you can tell me the type of Pokemon, as well as what the medication is used for. Can you get them all? Let's begin. Avalox. That's an antibiotic. Lorantis. That's a grass Pokemon. Gastrodon. That's a ground Pokemon. Cleosin. That's an antibiotic. Cesara. That's an antibiotic. Nose pass. That's a rock Pokemon. Zerava. That's an antibiotic. Quilladin. That's a grass Pokemon. Ralts. That's a psychic fairy Pokemon. And lastly, Oracia. That's an antibiotic.
No nuance November, and as you can see, some of the stuff I've been seeing online has been making me sick on the last day of November. Let's go. So there's this new game I've decided to play this Christmas where I'm not going to buy my friends or family any gifts, and I expect them to do the same for me in return. I think it should be really fun and everyone should try it. The most valued yet undervalued asset you could have during late-stage capitalism is free domestic labor, which is why you see certain men enraged at the fact that women no longer want to get married like they used to. The reason why you see so many people rushing to defend Darius Jackson and Diddy in their domestic violence cases is because our society hates women so much that it's easier to empathize with someone who wants to hurt them versus someone who doesn't. Choosing between Trump and Biden in this next election is like choosing between fascism and diet fascism. And frankly, Biden's fascism is starting to become less diet. I used to wonder what kind of bad karma Noah Schnapp had racked up for himself for all of his acting ability to completely leave his body by season 3 of Stranger Things, but now I guess we all know it's because he's a Zionist. If the IDF were as good at hunting down Hamas as they are at hunting down and killing journalists and civilians, maybe they would have a ceasefire already, but it's almost like they're not hunting down Hamas at all. If you're a mom who fears leaving the house because you're worried that your male partner is going to wreck the house or neglect the kids by the time you get back, then just know that your male partner is purposefully vandalizing the house in order to punish you for forcing him to be competent when it comes to housework. And no, this is not a reach. Please do not underestimate how far a lot of men will go to avoid domestic labor. And last, please do not stop talking about Palestine, the Congo, or Sudan. I know everybody's tired, but imagine how beyond tired they are.
Oh, I'm sorry. Next time I'm trying to make a point about human dignity, I'll be sure my makeup is to your liking first.
According to the Associated Press, sex ed classes are now excluding queer students who often have unique health needs. This is made worse by new laws banning LGBTQ topics in the classroom. In Texas, there is even a law that states that schools have to teach that homosexuality is unacceptable in the classroom. This is despite multiple attempts to change this law by the Texas legislature. Florida's Don't Say Gay law has now been copied in 14 states, and this law makes it so that LGBTQ topics cannot be taught in the classroom. This has huge impacts on queer and trans students. Many of these students, according to the AP report, have had to turn towards getting their information online. Meanwhile, organizations like Planned Parenthood have stepped forward with the Planned Parenthood Generation Action to provide educational resources.
She said she likes long hair. I wish I never cut it. She said she knows where I can make a lot of money. If I worked up myself, I'd come running. But I'm still here since I never moved a muscle. Maybe in some other life I've solved the situation before. You talk, it's hard to ignore. I'm getting lost in this, lost in you. Oh, it's not just simple words when your eyes are on me, but I'm out the door. You give me enough, just enough.
How come when a white guy fights for his country, he's a soldier, but when a brown guy does it, he's a terrorist? Why is that?
I'm actually leaving the party early. Yeah, it's really overwhelming trying to figure out how to join conversations when people like bunch up into like little conversation groups. Yeah, because it's awkward, like to like join. Yeah, so I'm just gonna go. I am so sorry that I didn't answer your message. I was really overstimulated when I got it, so I was putting it off for later, but then I forgot about it, and when I remembered, too much time had passed, so then I was getting like really anxious about it, so I ended up just deleting your text, so it was kind of like an out of sight, out of mind problem. You made a facial expression, and I don't know what you were trying to convey, so now my brain's trying to convince me that you're mad at me. Are you mad at me? I do want to hang out with you, and I really want to hear about your day, but right now I'm mentally preparing to take a shower, and like there's so much going on in my brain, like I can't focus on what you're saying. Can you tell me about it later? I'm so sorry to do this to you, but I'm gonna leave really abruptly because I'm getting overstimulated, and if I try to push past it, I'm gonna lose the ability to mask like my facial expressions and my tone of voice, and when that happens, people think that I'm really pissed off at them, and then that creates problems. Because I'm not mad, I just can't regulate myself anymore. So I'm just gonna go before that happens.
Because Jupiter has a ring and you don't. Actually, like, it's not Jupiter that's known for the rings. Your mom does OnlyFans. Santa Claus isn't real, and technically Jupiter does have rings, okay?
Man, life is going great right now. I have hundreds of thousands of followers on social media. I get paid to literally write. I get paid hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars to write stories and bring worlds to life. I'm inspiring people across the world. People are DMing me, telling me how much my books have changed their lives. I mean, my stuff is getting adapted into a TV show and a movie. Life is just so great, and I'm blessed, and I think I've reached a point in my career where I'm ready to just fuck all of that up. No, don't do that. Why would you do that? Just don't do that. No, I really think that's the move right now. Like, I'm at the height of my success, and what better way to cap that off than by saying some really controversial and ignorant shit on social media? It'll be great. No, please, no, don't do that. It costs $0 to shut the fuck up. I don't care if you hate gay people. Hate them in fucking private. They are like 40% of book sales. Do not say some stupid shit that's going to alienate your readers and lose us money. I hear you. So what you're saying is I should publicly endorse genocide, or I could just go online and say that, I don't know, members of the LGBTQ community shouldn't have rights and they're like not fucking people. Or I could do both. If I'm feeling a little spicy, I could do that. Oh, you literally don't. You can just shut the fuck up. Please, you're gonna lose us so much money.
Why'd you get it?
I got it because it had the heart on it. I held it up and thought, gee, that's nice. I like it. And I just said how much. They wanted $2. This was at the Parker Street.
Yeah.
So I said, oh, I'll take it. I mean, yeah, look, it had a heart on it. I said, Trevor, is this a real flag to a country? Because I've never seen anything. And anyway, I said, oh, that would be nice for a curtain or sitting on anything, a picnic table.
We got to get that hung up.
Really?
Really.
Do you like it?
I love it.
Really? Well, Trevor told me what, are you getting me in this?
Well, terrific today, son. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, Daddy. Elmo had a lot of fun with Carly today.
Oh.
Boy, she's a great friend.
Yeah, she sure is.
Elmo knows that Carly's mommy was away for a while, but now she's back. Boy, Carly's mommy looks and acts different than she did before.
Yeah, Carly's mommy seems much healthier since she's been back.
Yeah. How come Carly's mommy had to go away?
Well, son, Carly's mommy has a kind of sickness, and she had to get some help.
Sickness? Mm-hmm. Like when Elmo has the sniffles?
Oh, no, it's not that kind of sickness. Carly's mommy has a disease called addiction. Addiction makes people feel like they need a grown-up drink called alcohol or another kind of drug to feel okay. That can make a person act strange in ways they can't control.
Why doesn't she just stop?
Oh, it's not something you can just stop doing, not without help from the right grown-ups.
Daddy? Will Carly's mommy get better?
Well, she's working hard on it. She's taking good care of her body and mind so she can stay healthy and make good choices.
Oh, good. Elmo's really happy for her.
Oh.
My daughter's name is Carly, and I struggle with addiction, and I am in recovery, so that video hit really hard. But I think they did a great job with that. What do you guys think?
If you want to talk about Congolese liberation and revolution and the countless attempts made by Congolese people to truly free Congo, then we have to talk about Patrice Lumumba. If there's any video about the Congo that you have felt compelled to truly listen to, let it be this one. Patrice Lumumba, born on July 2nd, 1925 in the Belgian Congo, now the Democratic Republic of the Congo, was a key figure in the struggle for African independence from colonial rule. He initially worked as a postal clerk and later became involved in politics. Lumumba's eloquence and passion for independence led to his rise within the nationalist movement. In 1958, he co-founded the National Congolese Movement, advocating for self-determination as demands for independence intensified. Lumumba played a crucial role in negotiations with Belgian authorities. The Congo gained independence on June 30th, 1960, and Lumumba became the country's first prime minister. His premiership faced immediate challenges, including internal divisions and secessionist movements. Lumumba's efforts to maintain national unity and assert Congo's independence drew opposition from both internal and external forces. Cold War dynamics heightened tensions with the United States and Belgium, wary of Lumumba's perceived socialist leanings. Lumumba's tenure was tumultuous, marked by political turmoil and intervention, facing internal strife and secession in the mineral-rich province of Katanga. Lumumba sought assistance from the United Nations. However, his appeals for help led to a controversial UN intervention. In 1961, Lumumba was arrested by Congolese rivals, supported by Belgian and U.S. interest. He was subsequently handed over to Katangan authorities and brutally executed on January 17, 1961. Lumumba's tragic demise turned him into a symbol of anti-colonial resistance and a martyr for African independence. Despite the challenges he faced during his brief time in power, Lumumba's legacy endures. He is remembered for his vision of a united, independent Congo and his commitment to social justice. His life and death remain subjects of historical reflection, representing the complexities of post-colonial politics and the struggle against external interference. I have a lot of videos about the Congo I want to share, so I appreciate all the new faces and input on my work. I'd also just like to mention that Lumumba was assassinated and dipped into acid, and not even a few years ago his teeth was sent back as a memorial for Congolese people. So when you talk about Free Congo, you do have to mention Patrice Lumumba and all he's done for the country in your conversations. My name is Sparrow, and thank you for listening.